in the media, please share it as much as you can and post it on your socials so that we can get the word out about the things that the mayor's about to announce today.
Thank you, Melissa, and thank you for your attendance to our weekly press briefing. As she said, I certainly want to wish all of the Jackson residents a happy new year. This is the first time that I've had opportunity to stand before you in the new year and want to give you some important information. But I'd like to start on a congratulatory note. I want to congratulate Congressman Benny Thompson, who was awarded the President's Citizen Medal, which is the second highest civilian medal, and he received this honor for his work leading the congressional investigation into the Capitol riots that took place on January 6th, nearly exactly 4 years ago today. So we commend him, our very own congressman. And so I want him to know that all of Jackson is grateful not only for his service, but we are joining in congratulations for his receipt of this award. As Melissa alluded to, we do have inclement weather that is slated for this week. We're expecting bitterly cold temperatures over the next several days. It is not expected to make it out of the 40s much of this week. And Thursday and Friday, there is a possibility of a wintry mix. As a result, today at 2:30, Shepherd's Gym will open for those that are in need of shelter. It is located at 1355 Hattiesburg Street near Jim Hill High School. And our community partners, Shower Power, has partnered with the city to help run the shelter. So again, at 2:30 today, Shepherd's Gym will open for those that are in need of shelter, and it will be supported by Shower Power. I'd like to ask if Chief Owens would come forward with some recommendations of how to be prepared for our inclement weather. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. As the mayor said, there's some bad weather that's coming out there, and it's already here, really, with the temperatures the way they are. And I just want to let the public know that there are some things that they can do to be safe during this type of temperature. First of all, let me say this to the people that are out on the streets, like some of the homeless people. We do have a coat drive that we have going on in collaboration with AMR and some of the other organizations around town, where we are giving out coats to some of those people who are not able to have their own housing. And so if they need that, that's going to happen, I believe, tomorrow at our fire station downtown. In collaboration with some of the organization, we'll be having those people to come by, get a coat, sweater, scarf, gloves, or whatever, and they also can get some pizza, from my understanding, if they need something to eat. So we have that going on. I want to mention, too, that a lot of times you see these fires that are happening, and they are accidental, and sometimes they might be intentionally set, but they're trying to stay warm, and I understand that. But in the process, they need to know some of the things that they really need to do in order to be safe and not die because of these fires. And that is, if you have anything that is lit for like an electric heater, fireplace, anything like that, we always tell people they need to stay at least 3 feet away from any burning unit. Anything that is burning, you need to stay at least 3 feet away from it. And we do have situations now during these times where we have people who are trying to stay warm by electrical space heaters. And with these electric space heaters, they cause a lot of problems. A lot of times people will not plug those space heaters directly into the wall, into a receptacle. But what they would do is try to put 2 or 3 space heaters into one small extension cord. And when those cords get hot, those space heaters pull a lot of current. And when they get hot, they will cause a fire. And so we're asking you not to plug your space heaters into a small electrical cord. try to plug them directly into the wall receptacle. If you can't do that, then try to get some larger extension cord that you can plug it into, and that would be a cord that is a lot larger than one of those little small ones. So we're asking you to be cognizant of that and try to be safe by not plugging them into a small cord. Also, we are talking about people going in that are cooking as well. A lot of times we have people who go in at night, they want to start a fire by cooking, turning the stove on, going to sleep. And with these holiday seasons going on, I realize a lot of people sit around and they might want to drink a little something, but we're asking you to be aware and not turn your stove on to try to cook something, and then all of a sudden you have a fire. But here's the thing. If you do not have a working smoke alarm in your home, we're asking you to please call our fire department number. It's 960-1399, 601-960-1399, and we are donating free smoke alarms. And we'll put a smoke alarm in each bedroom and in your hallway. So if you need a smoke alarm, we're asking you to call that number, and we'll come out and install it for you. You don't have to install it yourself. We'll do it for you. So be aware that you need some type of an alarm to wake you up just in case you fall asleep. And these alarms will save lives. We've seen evidence of where they have saved lives. And so just be aware that you really need to have your working smoke alarm in your home, okay? So I want to say thank you for that, and I hope you get something from it. All right.
Thank you again, Chief, for providing those tips and also the life-saving measures that the men and women of the Jackson Fire Department provide each and every day. Turning the page a little bit, again, we are extremely excited to celebrate our JSU Tigers, and the planning is still underway for the upcoming JSU Football National Championship Parade. It will take place next Friday, January 17th. Now, initially we told you that the parade would begin at 3 p.m., but in an effort to ensure that JPS students could participate and those who do not get off of work until 5 p.m., we have changed that time to 6 p.m. So the parade, once again, will be on January 17th, but the time has been changed to 6 p.m. The parade route is similar to that of the St. Patrick's Day Parade, just a bit shortened. I think it will start somewhere near Pascagoula and State Street, and it will make the block, I guess, turning left on Capitol Street, then after Capitol, West Street, back to Pascagoula, and we believe that there will be staging right in front of the Hood building here across the street from City Hall. So we look forward to everyone coming out, having a great time. It will be a night parade. And that is merely to accommodate all of the people that we know want to attend. We went through great pains to try to establish a date that not only considering the school schedule or the holiday break for JSU students, but also the participation of our JPS students and the residents. It will be cold, or we anticipate it being cold, but we're going to have a good time. And we look forward to everyone coming and joining us. You can reach out if you have any interest in participating as a vendor, by example. You can reach out to our to the communications at jsums.edu. I'm sorry. Once again, communications at jsums.edu for more information. And we will share more details about the parade in the coming days. Thalia Mara Hall is slated. January 17th is an important day. It is still slated, and it is expected to open. Our most recent updates are that things are on task. And we have a few announcements with respect to where it is in that process. The HVAC cleaning and encapsulation process is at 90%. The lead abatement is at 70% completion. The theater mitigation is at 80%, and the lobby is at 99%. So we anticipate, barring any unforeseen challenges, once again, we anticipate, and the updates that we have received as recently as today in our directors meeting is that everything is on track. But barring any unforeseen challenges, we anticipate January 17th as the date that it will reopen. I have some notes here, but I'm actually going to not do this to my friend, Dr. Muhammad. We have an exciting announcement out of our Parks and Rec, and so I'm going to let him tell you what that announcement is.
Thank you, Mayor. Happy Founders Day to you again. Good afternoon, all. Just wanted to come and make a brief announcements where Parks and Rec is concerned. We're very excited about some things that we have going on, and wanted to just come and share some of those things in its completion now, and some things that are in its genesis, in its beginning of what we're doing. One would be the opening and the announcement of our disc golf, which is located at Livingston Park, which is right next to the zoo. We're very excited about our disc golf because it is the first 18-hole disc golf that we have here in the city of Jackson that is being certified as an international disc golf course, which means that we will be certified in the city to host disc golf tournaments, not only just here locally and throughout the state, but internationally. And so we're very, very pleased and proud about that. We thank the administration for their backing and their support in allowing us to have this installed into our park, which gives us another feature added to next to the zoo. There's already been some play to take place already. We're getting great reviews of those who are participants out at the course. And so we're looking to do an official opening of the disc golf course next week, weather permits, and just announcing it to the whole rest of the city and throughout the whole state, for that matter, that the city of Jackson is very proud and pleased to be able to offer what is considered the second fastest growing sports in America, outside of pickleball, which is the fastest growing sports throughout the world. And we have something forthcoming with that as well, but we'll keep that on cap so that we can give you a cliffhanger where that is concerned, all right? But once again, the disc golf course is open, it is completed, and we're looking forward to doing a ribbon cutting ceremony, weather permits, next week. We also want to announce that we are looking for 3 zookeepers. We need 3 zookeepers. Now, we thank you all for the last time that you were able to put this out throughout the public, and we got great response. Unfortunately, for the loss of the 3 that we have was due to they were able to move on as they were matriculating through school, going through zoology, and some moved away because they had a spouse that was military personnel, but they were able, as we're hearing, getting on with other places of zoos because of the experience that they got here. And so we're asking for the public to please put in your application for zookeepers. Once again, we're still taking care of your certification, taking care of your CPR as well as AED, and through the administration and the backing of the council, we've been able to give more of a pay incentive from the pay scale range for the zookeepers that are coming aboard. So we want you to put it in, come and be a part of the City of Jackson family, gain that experience, but more importantly, we're hoping that you will stay on and keep it as a career as we're looking to grow and grow much further our zoo as we continue to add more attraction and features and things to it. So once again, go to the cityofjackson.gov website and apply for those positions. We are starting the interview process as early as next week, and it will be continuous until we get those positions filled. All right. Once again, we will be paying for the training. The pay scale has increased. You will get CPR and AED certified. There's no other zoo around that are offering those type of incentives for new employees to come aboard. So we're very excited about that, and Mayor, we thank you for your backing. And then the last announcement we want to make, we're extremely excited about the administration and the council approving a complete restoration for the Grove Park, not only the community center, but for Grove Park, period, from side to side. And we've already started breaking ground on some of the endeavors that we're doing in those restoration efforts. And so I just want to publicly thank you, Mayor. I want to thank the council who may be listening. I want to thank the administration for seeing our vision and backing those vision to bring Grove Park not only to where it used to be, but beyond where it was at one point. We have some great visions for it. We have backing for it now, and more importantly, we have those of you who are willing to lend your thoughts, your efforts, and your time in bringing Grove Park back to what it was and even beyond. So with that being said, I want to announce that we will be closing the park we're looking right around January the 22nd, after Martin Luther King holiday. And the reason for that is because we want to have the park up and operational for spring and summer activities. And with that being said, if we are able to close the park, much less like when you see when there's repairs done to streets or bridges or buildings and things of that nature, they're closed off so that you may be able to come and enjoy it better as the restorations are taking place, so that everyone can be safe. We can do it in a timely manner, and once it's open, you'll be very proud of the product that we're presenting. So we're looking forward to bringing the community together to roll out a presentation of where the park is now and the future of what it will look like. And so please be on standby to see when that date will be, when we will invite you all out to take a look and see the renderings of the future of Grove Park. And we're very, very excited about it, and we know that you will be as well. It will have opportunities from everyone from 8 to 80. No matter what your abilities or lack of that may be, you'll be able to enjoy your Grove Park area, and we'll continue to do this throughout the city. So once again, Mayor, thank you so much. Thank you for the City Council. Thank you, administration, for your backing. And that will be all from Parks and Rec at this time. Thank you, sir. Go Tigers.
I want to thank Dr. Muhammad not only for providing those updates and, to those residents who may be looking for a job. I hope that you do fill out an application to be a zookeeper. As he stated, you don't have to have the experience. We're actually providing the certification. So those that have a love for animals or an interest, please sign up. And I also want to thank Dr. Muhammad for the great vision of Parks and Recreation. We're expecting big things out of our Parks and Recreation Department this year. And he's been running with the ball. Not only the disc golf, which is an idea that he generated and brought to us, and to see that into reaching its completion. We're just dealing with cold temperatures, but that's a new amenity that we can offer people when they come to Jackson, or maybe even it solicits people to come and visit and be a part of national tournaments. But the Grove Park piece, I've had extensive discussions with Dr. Muhammad, sharing how special and important that place is, not only to the community that feels often forgotten. Ever since the underpass was closed and they were blocked in, and the different challenges with the golf course. And so we're making a significant investment into Grove Park. I'd like to thank Councilman Griselle, who often lifts this challenge up. He continues to hammer in, advocating for his community. And so this investment not only will see to the restoration of the pool, will also see to the restoration of the ball fields and and the tennis courts. So a number of the amenities, as he said, it can go from even though 8 to 80 rhymes, right, or it has a little alliteration to it, actually T-ball starts around 4 or 5, right? So we're looking forward to having young people and a mix of young and old in our parks. You got opportunities for mentorship, opportunity to rebuild community. When you talk about the violence that we unfortunately see in our community, it's a lot easier telling a young person what to do than simply telling them what not to do. And so we have a task and an obligation to provide those alternatives to our young people. So I look forward to that. One last update. This is one that we frequently talk about. That is Hotel O. And the update that we have is when we last spoke, I told you we were waiting on MDEQ approval to tear it down. We've learned that they have requested testing to be done on the roof for samples to be taken down to ensure that it does not contain asbestos. Once that sampling is done, and depending on what those samples reveal, then we can move to the next steps of its demolition. There is an abatement process if there is asbestos that exists. If not, then it makes it a little quicker for us to do it. But we are moving forward on this. Our city attorney's office is continuing to update us on this process. With that, I am prepared for the questions that you have. Yes, sir.
Two things. We heard the announcement this morning that City Council President Virgil Lindsay will not be seeking re-election. Have you taken steps to qualify to run for re-election?
I am in that process. I know what the deadlines are and the expirations of those, so my plans are still the same. I'm still running. Now, with respect to City Council President, Councilwoman Lindsay, I thank her for her service, and her prayers, my prayers are with her in her future endeavors. I thank her for the work that she's done here, and we forget that there are human beings in these positions, and so whatever she has to reflect on in her personal endeavors, or maybe just wanting rest, I wish her the best in that.
And are you, given the situation regarding the federal indictment, you still are taking the steps to qualify for re-election?
I don't know how to say yes in too many other ways. Yes, see, I'm doing it. I'm doing it, and I told you that for me, I am only running if I think it's necessary, and I think that there are things that are necessary to fight for the residents of Jackson. I have made my statements with respect to that indictment. I told you that I am not going to carry forward like a guilty man, because I am not, and so I'm going to proceed in that process.
Mayor,
Yes.
Are there any plans to open additional shelters in case of one of the companies?
Will be malleable enough, depending on the circumstance, to see if additional shelters need to be open. I don't know. I hadn't identified whether the training academy is available, but depending on the response, often we open up these shelters, and sometimes we don't reach capacity for one shelter, and so there's a lot of work with community partners that has to take place before we can staff it up with the necessary individuals in order to make sure that it's ready to operate. So that will be, kind of based on the need and what we observe in terms of those that actually come to the shelter. Yeah.
So you have 6 months left in your second term. What would you say are some of your top priorities or things you're trying to get accomplished before the potential end of your term?
Well, there's a number of things. We have a number of slated projects, rehabbing facilities, trying to drive in more revenue for the city, infrastructure projects. I'm a hands-on mayor, and I want to see to it that these long-standing challenges for our residents are addressed. Sometimes when we have debates and we're looking at challenges like whether there are new parking meters or those things, it's because I realize that we are a revenue-starved city. And the reality is that our needs exceed our means. And so in this job, you can't just admire a problem. You can't just say, well, our roads are bad and we have issues with these facilities. You have to be able to identify dedicated streams of funding in order to address those things. You have to have programmatic solutions to how you will address those things. And so we're looking high and low each and every day to how we find programmatic solutions to longstanding challenges, not only the infrastructure problems of our roads, but the infrastructure issues of our drainage, right? People complain about that, and rightfully so. First of all, I want to say rightfully so. But what we tend to do is we look at the entire public works budget, and we just kind of shave a little bit here and a little bit here, and we become, we minor in everything, but we don't major in anything, and therefore we never get any of these challenges resolved. So with respect to our roads, we've largely used our 1% sales tax. We were the first ones in state history to leverage a tax like that in order to get more money up front to pave more roads than the last several administrations combined. We are looking at our state utilization tax. That is the money that we get from internet sales tax as a dedicated stream of funding in order to address the drainage issues and the flooding that people deal with. When I think about people who live in the Queens subdivision or Presidential Hills or on Hemingway Circle, residents that every time it rains hard, I know that we're going to get a call, and I know that they're going to have water either come in their house or reach their back step. And so these are the type of challenges that energize me, and when we're able to see a solution, when we're able to see the relief on someone's face, that is what is intoxicating to me, because I think people deserve better. So our ability to address those things, I think we can, because we've demonstrated an ability to find money out of nowhere, whether we're talking about the water, right? That is why we've traveled, far and wide in order to find allies, build relationships. We've brought in more philanthropic groups to not only support our technical know-how within the city. Sometimes we have federal dollars that are available, but we're like many cities. And I can say we're like many cities because I'm in the discussions with mayors who just don't have the staff and the team in order to go through all of the technical components of what needs to be submitted and recovered in order to obtain those dollars. And so all of those things are on our plate and more.
Okay, so rehabbing facilities, infrastructure, drainage, is developing the property across from the Convention Center Hotel a priority?
It has been a priority for the city for 30 years, and the importance of that property, the importance of that area, is because if you're competing with Mobile, if you're competing with Birmingham, if you're competing with any of the cities within our region for conventions to come here, then you not only need the convenience that is there and necessary for people to stay, what you also need is an experience. Because even if you're able to get them here the first time, right, if you haven't created an experience that the next time their convention is coming, that they say, listen, we had a really good time in that Jackson, Mississippi, and I want to go back. And so that's a part of our vision that has been a part of the city's long-standing development goals for a number of years. And so while I'm not going to talk about the case, I will certainly admit that I am motivated in order to connect the pieces of what allows Jackson to grow, what takes derelict or abandoned property in the city of Jackson and turn it into an asset.
Okay, and then just lastly, so Thalia Mara is supposed to open on January 18th. What happens next? Are there shows scheduled, or will the public be invited to check out
I don't know that we'll just have an open house at that point in time. Now, the repairs that are taking place to get us to January 17th are just the standard things that we have to do to ensure that the conditions are safe to have shows, but there are additional repairs. I continue to remind us that Thalia Mara is an aging facility. It's a larger facility. And even before this date, right, we were doing work in order to see to it that we could have the IBC, the International Ballet Competition, we were rushing and making sure that the restroom facilities were taken care of. We were working with an emergency contracting process that Mr. Lewis Wright and also our CFO were, working in tandem with the group to ensure that those things were taking place. And the contract, I can't remember the contractor's name off the top of my head. So, this isn't a foreign concept to us. It isn't something that we haven't dealt with before. I know we're all disappointed when a facility like that, a beautiful facility, a revenue-generating facility is closed. But when repairs are needed, the only way in order to get it done is to, put our hands in the dirt and get it done. And so we'll be opening it at that point in time, but there will be other scheduled and necessary repairs to come following that. All right? Yes.
Can I ask you about the Grove Park improvements? How much is that going to cost? Where is that money that's coming from? And sort of the related issue, what's the timeline for replacing another location for Eudora Welty and ultimately, if that's a
Yeah.
cost, the old Charles Tisdale line?
So there have been a number of discussions with respect, I'll take the latter question first. And for those that couldn't hear, he asked me about replacing Eudora Welty in the Charles Tisdale Library. So the Library Commission has offered a couple of suggestions for the Charles Tisdale Library. And, part of that involves property that is not in the city's possession. I don't want to go too far and say what that property is, but it's within the footprint of where the former Charles Tisdale Library was. And so we're looking at that property. The property that has last been suggested is a little larger than what we will need just for a library. And so there are other tenants that are looking to enter into that property. And so there are a few pieces that have to be connected with that. And, I still think that we need to get out of the rental business ultimately with our police department and own property so that we reduce our cost each year. And so I'm not saying that we're giving up on the Bat Furniture Building as well, but those are things that we're looking for dual purposes, in those facilities. With the Eudora Welty Library, we are trying to have discussions with the county about possible new locations. We believe that we absolutely need a downtown library for the population that needs to be served here. And I believe having a great legacy of someone like Eudora Welty in the literary world, it is, certainly necessary that we have one for her name, in her namesake. And so that effort is still going on. Now, the demolition of the current Eudora Welty is outside of the city's hands. We've passed that on to the state leadership. And, we're holding on and excited about when that demolition takes place, just as the rest of us, the rest of the residents are. So there are a few communication partners that we need for both. With respect to Grove Park, I don't want to say the exact amount. I'm thinking more than $2 million. 1.3. Okay, I thought it was. I actually advocated for more, right? But $1.3 million will be slated for the Grove Park improvements. All right. Thank you very much. All right.